Hi all, Losdy Punch Out TV. How are you all out there? Hope you're all well. It's Saturday afternoon. Today I want to do something a little different. It's one of them fantasy fights, boxing videos. A prime Joe Calzaghe versus a prime Carl the Cobra Froch. I wouldn't have to say prime, just say who would have won. I'd like to get your feedback. Who do you think would have won and why? The reason I'm doing this because there's always been this little bit of a stigma that Froch has been hiding in the shadows of Joe Calzaghe. A few people have said it. Some people think that Calzaghe was a better fighter. People think that Froch was a better fighter. Obviously, we'll never know because we both retired and this fight never happened. Um, Obviously, Joe Calzaghe's virtually retired as Froch was coming through, or it was towards the end of his career as Froch was coming through. But they were scheduled to fight for the WBC super middleweight title, and when it came down to the last day, this is Carl Froch's words, not mine. Carl Froch has stated this many times on his channel that as it came down to the last day for them to sign the fight for the sign the contract for the fight, Joe Calzaghe vacated the belt and moved up to light heavyweight. So Froch has always had this thing that Joe Calzaghe was running from him. But anyway, just looking through the careers of both two fantastic fighters, you had Joe Calzaghe, was 46-0, a two-weight world champion, 32 KOs, a southpaw from Wales, beating some great fighters. Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, both of them two legends. Mikael Kessler, fantastic fighter as well. Richie Woodall, good fighter, former WBC middleweight champion. Eubanks, Jeff Lacey. Now, me personally, I give him credit for Lacey, but Lacey was blown up to be something what he wasn't. The media over here blew him up as a mini Mike Tyson because he was a small dude, stocky, with a massive neck. But Lacey went on to be not much in my eyes. He got once Calzaghe pieced him up. He got pieced up quite a few times. He beat Charles the Hatchet Brewer as well. Good fighter. The Byron Mitchell fight with Joe Calzaghe, that was brilliant. That was a brilliant fight. I can remember that all these years ago. Mitchell knocked Calzaghe down, and then Joe got up and knocked him down. But it was a great fight, that. But then looking at Carl Froch's record, orthodox. He was orthodox. 33, 2 losses, one to Andre Ward, one to Mikael Kessler, who he went back and revenged that loss with 24 knockouts. A 4 times world champion, super middleweight champion, winning the WBC twice, the IBF and the WBA. He beat Mikael Kessler, Andre Durrell, good fighter. Arthur Abraham, former world champion. Jermaine Taylor, great fighter, former world champion himself. Lucien Boutte, that was a fantastic fight when he beat Lute, and I think it was Nottingham in his own town where he beat him. He was the IBF champion. Beat Robin Reed, former world champion. John Pascal, tremendous fighter, former world champion. Georgie Groves, who can ever forget the fights with Georgie Groves? But just, they beat some stellar fighters in their time. Now, me, if you ask me who I think would have won, I'd have to say I don't know. But me personally, I give Carl Froch more credit than Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe, only based on, and this is just my basing on, of the fact that Carl Froch was fighting the fighters who were in their prime, the legit fighters in his prime. And I feel that Joe Calzaghe didn't. And why I'm going to say that is because there were certain fighters across the pond at the time, like you had Roy Jones Jr., who I did a video on this years ago, who was actually a middleweight champion at the same time. Or was it super middleweight champion? I can't remember now. I did the video, I looked it up. But for 2 years, they were both in the same division before Roy moved up again to light heavyweight. But for some unknown reason, Joe Calzaghe never went across the pond and fought Roy Jones in his prime, and he never fought Bernard Hopkins in his prime. Yes, he did fight him later on, but let's be honest, they'd been up and come back down in weights and that, and they were well past their best, I think, when he fought them. So I give Carl Froch the edge on just fighting the killers in his division who were in their prime. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diss Joe Calzaghe or anything. I'm just saying that's how I see it. But it'd be interesting to know who you think would have won if these two would have ever met. Southpaw obviously versus Orthodox. So it's tricky to fight the Southpaw. Who do you think was a better fighter? How do you think the fight would have gone? I'd love to just have a bit of feedback from you, see how you think it would have gone. Like I say, me personally, I don't know how I would have seen it, but if I was have to go with someone, I would have to go with the Cobra. I would have to go with Froch. If this fight was, just say if they were fighting now. But I'm not sure if he would have won, but I would have gone with Froch. Anyway, I look forward to your feedback if you do. Pretty much appreciated. Peace out. I'll catch you soon.